Nested if functions. Now, in the spirit of my videos, I try to keep them down about 5 minutes a piece. So when it comes to this, I'm going to try to show a very simple example of a nested if function. Now, these functions can be as complicated as you want them to be, but I'm going to just show one example of a nested if function with just two if statements in the equation. So in this example, I have four columns. I have column A, which has the item number. I have column B, which has plant location. Column C, which is the cost. And then I have column D. This is the column we want to put our nested if function in. So column D is asking for plant A above $50. And what this is asking for is find the item numbers that are made at plant A and cost more than $50. Now, a traditional if function will answer a yes or no question. And since we want to know both the plant location and the cost, we have two yes or no questions. That's when the nested if function comes into play. So we start this just like we start a normal if statement. We're going to put an equal sign, and I'm going to type IF, and we'll hit tab. Now we have an if statement. Now our logic test is going to be our first question, which is which plant is the product made in? So we want plant A. So if this cell, B2, equals, and you want to put in quotation marks, plant A, then we know that's our first yes or no question. So if B2 equals plant A, that's our first question. So I'm going to put a comma, and if that value is true, so if it is plant A, the next question we want to ask, does it cost more than $50 to make? So I'm going to go ahead and type in IF for our second if statement. I'm going to hit tab, and that enters in the second if equation. And then this logic test is going to be, does it cost more than $50 to make this product? So I'm going to highlight cell C2, which is the cost, and I just want to have the ones that are greater than $50. And the reason you must put a quotation mark around that is because when you type out words, Excel will confuse words with different equations, but numbers are not those equations. That's the simplest way I can explain that. So then we have C2 is greater than 50, comma. If that is true, then we want to return whatever value you come up with. So in this case, we're going to say is above $50, okay? And it doesn't really matter. We just want to pick out the item numbers that match this description. So that's our logic test. So now we have an equation that pulls out item numbers made in plant A and also costs more than $50. Now if that value is false, we don't want anything in that cell. It doesn't pertain to our question. So I'm going to just put quotation marks, which will just leave a blank in that cell. And then we'll put a parenthesis. And then what you just did was you put a if statement inside of this if statement. And since I put those parentheses in right here by C2, which is in red, and I put this closing parenthesis right here, which is also red, that finished that if statement. And now we're back to our original if statement, which starts over here with the B2 equals plant A. So if it doesn't equal plant A, we don't want anything to pop up. We're just going to put two closing quotation marks. So if it's not made in plant A, nothing will be returned. So then I'm going to put a closing parenthesis, and that's our entire equation. So it's going to ask, in cell B2, is it made in plant A? If not, this part of the equation right here, the quotation marks, is going to just leave it blank. If it is made in plant A, it will go on to our next if statement right here, is C2 greater than 50, so the cost, in this case it is greater than 50, and it's also made in plant A, meaning you should return the phrase is above $50. So I'm going to hit enter, is above $50. And now I can just drag this equation down to the bottom here. And then now we should only have this phrase is above $50 in items made at plant A. So let's just do a quick check. So row 3 we have plant A, 77 is above 50, so we get that. And then we have row 4, we have plant B, so we shouldn't have anything. It's just blank. And then if we scroll down, we have row 32 and 33, both made at plant A, but they're not above $50, so we get a blank back. So now we know each item made in plant A and above $50. And this is just a simple nested if function.